Hello world and all who inhabit it. You are tuning into a video from the newly formed Disciples of Wrestling. We're so glad y'all can join us on this journey. We've been prepping and preparing for this for the past couple of months, and it's finally coming to fruition. We're here now. We're ready to get it popping, so let's do it. My name, as you know, is Jordan Moser. You'll come to see me a lot as you continue to watch the channel. But we are in our first week of videos, our first new year of videos. Happy 2021, by the way. We need to get 2020 out the way because that won't do nothing for a lot of people. Let's come into this new year. Let's be prosperous. Hope everybody else is as prosperous as well. But this first video we got coming up for you, this will be our top 10 wrestlers of the year 2020. Even though we're starting in 2021, we've been tracking everything that's been going on this past year, all the successes and failures of different superstars and wrestlers. And now we've come up together with just a really compact list, and we're just going to give that to you, our top 10 wrestlers of 2020. These will be through all 4 major promotions in the US: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW. Hopefully later on in the future we can infiltrate with other superstars and wrestlers as well, because we don't want to forget New Japan, All Japan, ROH, even though they were gone for like 8 months, but that's okay, you know. But this is our compact list of what's been going on in the past 12 months. Let's get it started. First off, we do want to go through a couple of honorable mentions that we do have. When you're completing a list as small as this one, it's kind of hard to complete the list without leaving notable or accomplished people off who did their thing throughout the year as well. So definitely want to go through a couple of those. We do have our first one coming in at number 12, I guess. That would be the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. You know, shout out to Angelo Dawkins, of course. But aside from holding some form of tag team championship throughout the year, whether Raw or SmackDown, many would argue they've been consistently entertaining, definitely been a bright spot during this quarantine period. Breakout stars of the year, tag team of the year, the things of that nature from the Slammies. Even during the weird parts, kind of like in my opinion, the Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better series. There were some bright spots in there as well. Definitely culminated with an awesome tag team championship match against the Viking Raiders on Raw. Defended their championships across multiple pay-per-views, had an awesome tag match with the New Day at Survivor Series, and they're going into the new year on top. They're looking to feud with the Dirty Dogs. I guess that's their name now, coming up, but they're still on the rise. Definitely the best tag team of WWE this year, and they come in at number 12. And our last honorable mention we do have is the boss, Sasha Banks. She technically completed the Triple Crown this year. She won the whole Triple Crown basically in the year. She won the Raw Women's Championship and the Women's Tag Team Championships, but she did complete the Triple Crown this year, winning the SmackDown Women's Championship from Bayley, and definitely the best women's Hell in a Cell match that we've had, and definitely one of the best Hell in a Cell matches we've seen in a minute. But aside from winning all of those titles and going into the new year as SmackDown Women's Champion, she has been consistently entertaining. Her and Bayley were definitely the most awesomest part, in my opinion, of the summer period. They were just the most fun thing to watch. Their egos and their aura was just amazing. So just watching them on screen through that whole summer period was awesome. She won all 3 titles this year, literally won the Triple Crown in 1 year. And definitely one of the best Hell in a Cell matches we've seen in a long time. So at number 11, we got Sasha Banks. Now, we're moving to the top 10. Let's get it. Coming in on our list at number 10, we do have FTR, the tag team compiling of Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, known as the Revival in WWE. They weren't really doing much there at the beginning of the year until they eventually hightailed their way to the best tag division on planet Earth in AEW, making their way there and adding just a sense of legitimacy to that tag division. It was already star-packed, already legitimate, but they definitely brought a bit of star power from WWE. They made their way through. They eventually won the AEW tag team titles from Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page after a bit of mischievous deeds, and things of that nature. And then they went on to hold them for a couple of months before having one of the best tag matches of all time, and a dream match in that matter, against the Young Bucks at Full Gear. They eventually did lose those titles, but they've been presented as one of the best tag teams in the entire world since they've arrived at AEW. Definitely one of the best tag teams represented of this year, and they come in at number 10 on our list. Next up, coming in at number 9, we do have MJEF from AEW. He was undefeated for basically his whole singles career until he came up across Mr. John Moxley, who will come up a little bit later on this list. But he was just having great matches with the likes of the Cody Rhodes, of the Jungle Boys and Lucha House Party, with Chris Jericho eventually later on at Full Gear. But I will say, while his in-ring work is very good and definitely improving, he is mainly on this list because he is probably the best heel in the entire business. Like, there was no one more hateable and greater at doing heel work this year than him. Like, Roman Reigns, he's kind of like a toss-up. He did come in at a little bit later of the year, but for most of the year, MJF was bar none the best in terms of just hateability and heel work. And to be 24, like, that is just incredible for his career and where it's going to go. And not to mention, he does have a best performance of 2020 to his name from the New York Times, which a lot of humans, not just wrestlers, but humans cannot lay claim to. So just for all that and just the work that he's continued to do and will continue to do, we put him at number 9 on this list. Coming in at number 8 on our list, we do have arguably now, the best women's wrestler in the world, NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. She was gone for a little bit of the months out of the first part of the year, but once she came back, she was blazing. She was gone. She did win that first match back, that number 1 contenders ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship, and she did not waver from there. Eventually did win that title against Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair at TakeOver in Your House, and has just continued to put on a string of awesome performances. Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Rhea Ripley, Candice LeRae numerous times, like you name it. She has taken care of all of them. And going into the new year with a bevy of challengers like Raquel Gonzalez and Toni Storm and Ember Moon coming out the woodwork, she is showing no signs of slowing down whatsoever. She is definitely one of the more impressive women's wrestlers that we've seen in WWE in a long time, and her streak is not looking like it's going to end anytime soon. So due to her impressive performances and everything she's done this year, she comes in at number 8 on our list. Next up, coming in at number 7 on our list, we do have the NXT champion, the Prince, Finn Balor. Since Finn Balor has been back in NXT, he has been a freaking revelation. Like, he has been the best. He is the man that he was supposed to be on the main roster. That's how good he's been. Definitely he's won at all takeovers, undefeated at takeovers, I'm telling you, like against Gargano, Priest, Thatcher, and had amazing matches with all of them. And then eventually faced off with Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Ciampa in that fatal 4-way Iron Man match. Eventually went to a draw, but he did win that NXT championship for the second time after beating Adam Cole, and then has gone on to have an amazing match, one of the matches of the year with Kyle O'Reilly, and he's just ending the year strong. He's going into New Year's Evil this upcoming week against Kyle O'Reilly again, so I don't expect anything less from those two from what they did back at TakeOver 31, but he has clearly been the man that he was supposed to be in NXT, and I am all the more excited for it as the follower of NXT. Can't help but help it. So he comes in at number 7 on our list. Next up, coming in at number 6, we do have the Prince of Pro Wrestling, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, former 2-time TNT champion. He won the first one in the 8-man tournament, eventually defeating Lance Archer in the finals to win that belt. He then lost that, but eventually gained that belt back in an amazing dog collar match with the incredible, great, late Brody Lee. God rest his freaking soul. From everybody here at Disciples of Wrestling, definitely hearts go out to his family, Brody Jr., all the kids, his wife Amanda. We're definitely praying for you, most definitely, because seeing the outpour of love that has come from him and just the stories we hear about him during this past week and everything that's gone on, it's just been incredible. So RIP Brody Lee for sure. But in terms of just Cody, not only having one of the spots of the year with the moonsault off of the steel cage with the match with Wardlow, to elevating people all throughout his TNT title run with the first one, elevating guys like Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston, Sonny Kiss, Mark Quinn, and just seeing what they've been able to do. He's definitely had one of the best runs in AEW this year. So definitely Cody coming in at number 6, and RIP Brody Lee. Praise to the fullest. Coming in at number 5, we do have the one whose glory we should bask in. Come on now. His name is Keith Lee from Monday Night Raw. back in NXT at the beginning of this year. He did hold that North American Championship for about 6 months. He did not lose that championship. Like, he gave it up. He relinquished it only because he won the better belt. He eventually won that winner-take-all double championship match with Adam Cole, and he eventually won the NXT Championship in that match as well. He eventually lost that title to Karrion Kross, unfortunately. They never really gave him a chance to kind of explore what he could do as the top man in NXT, but he did eventually make his way to the main roster, and even though they gave him a singlet and some shorts and some new shorts, they did do great with him. He won his first main roster match against Randy Orton, the 13-time world champion, nonetheless, on the winning team with the clean sweep at Survivor Series. And actually, this past Monday, he did win a #1 contenders match to go on to face Drew McIntyre at this first Raw in 2020. So things are definitely looking up for Keith Lee. It was a baller year for him in terms of just how he was presented, and hopefully 2021 just blows it all the way out of the water. So we got Keith Lee coming in at number 5. Next up, coming in at number 4, we do have a ding dong. Who is it? It's Bayley. That's right. It's Bayley from SmackDown Live. Not only was she the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion we've had ever, like in the history ever of it. Not only did she hold the tag team titles, the women's tag titles with Sasha Banks as the Golden Role Models. I know they don't like that name, but whatever, we're gonna run with it here. But she did have one of the best blow-offs to a long-term feud that we've seen in WWE in a long time, the aforementioned Hell in a Cell match that her and Sasha did have, which was incredible. Please go watch that. But yeah, not only to mention, she was consistently the most entertaining thing on my screen throughout the summer months in the first half of this quarantine period. I could not get enough of Bayley and Sasha. So a long term with that. Once she lost the title, it kind of fell off the back burner, but her first 10 months of this year were some of the best 10 months that she's ever had in her entire career. So what else to Bayley? She did amazing this year. Hopefully 2021 brings just further glory, but she comes in at number 4 on our list. Next up, coming in at number 3 on our list, we do have, he's that man that he wrestled in a North Carolina, Kenny Omega. He comes in at number 3. Aside from being one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions throughout most of the year with Hangman Adam Page, not only was he having great tag matches with him and other members of the roster, he was having great single matches as well. Guys like Penta, guys like Laredo Kid at Triple Mania, guys like Hangman Page, even Trent earlier on in the year, who's just having these great matches. He literally can't have a bad match. Like, I don't know who thought he couldn't be a TV wrestler. Like, whoever came up with that argument was tweaking to the highest degree. But once he lost those World Tag Team titles, he didn't front. He just won the World Title Eliminator Tournament and then beat Jon Moxley for the title with the help of Don Callis. He created one of the biggest buzzes this year, just showing up on Impact Wrestling, kind of doing a cross-promotional thing between the two, and eventually they have a match at Hard to Kill coming up on Impact's calendar in January. So he is, whoever said he couldn't make it as a TV wrestler was out of their mind. Like, he is so expendable. He's the best. He had one of the best tag team matches ever this year, if not the best. Like, go watch that match with the Young Bucks. Like, it blows my mind. People don't get it. But he is one of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler in the world. And he comes in at number 3 on our list. And coming in at number 2, we do have the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre. There has been no one presented better in WWE than Drew McIntyre this year, except for maybe Roman Reigns, but he was gone for a little bit. He was gone for a real long time, so it's only been about a couple months since he's been back. But Drew McIntyre throughout this whole year, from the Royal Rumble win to beating Brock Lesnar and Big Show, don't forget he faced Big Show too at WrestleMania, and just currently defending that title however he can against a bevy of challengers: Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, numerous times, too many times. He eventually did lose that title to Orton at Hell in a Cell, but got it right back on Raw. Had one of the best matches of the year, a literal dream match that they could have saved for some point. Why do it at Survivor? Why do it at a throwaway pay-per-view? But one of the best matches this year with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. Great match with AJ Styles and The Miz at TLC, and he just continues an upward swing. Like, he's definitely the man in WWE right now on Raw, and I hope that his upward swing just continues. Like, he's really be presented as such, and he's the chosen one that they always thought he could be. So he comes in at number 2 on our list. And now it's the moment you've all been waiting for, I think, hopefully. The number 1 wrestler of 2020 from Disciples of Wrestling is that bad man, that bad man from AEW, the former AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is the best presented character in all of wrestling. He is the hardworking man. He's the fighter. He's the scrapper. He's everything that you want your champion to be. He won that title from Chris Jericho all the way back in February and did not waver. Held that for the longest time until eventually being defeated by Kenny Omega at Winter is Coming, which was his only singles loss of the year. He was undefeated like in singles competition forever. Like, throughout most of this year, that was his one loss. He lost a couple other matches in like tag action, but literally he only lost like 3 matches in total. And you can count that from New Japan too, like only 3 matches this year. Like, he is the most incredibly presented, convincing character in all of wrestling, and I'm definitely glad that he made AEW his home and just continued that run of champion, elevating guys as well, like a Lance Archer, the late great Brody Lee, Cage, Eddie Kingston, the main event level. Like, he did so much this year that it's fathomable, especially in the midst of a pandemic. Carrying them as its champion through that was just phenomenal. So he is our number 1 wrestler of the year in 2020 from Disciples of Wrestling, and that's our complete list. It'll be down in the description or something like that so y'all can look at it. But yeah, that's our list. But that is going to be it from your boy. I've had my time. We got videos coming out throughout the next days, weeks, months, years, whatever you want. We will be here. We'll be ready, present, and passionate just to talk about wrestling. Of course, we are never too big. Like, subscribe, comment, all the cliche stuff. Hit us up on our social medias if you have anything you want to talk about, any topics, prayer requests, things like that. We will pray with you. We will pray for you. It's all just about glorifying God and just having our passion of wrestling just shown on just the screen to the fullest. That's all it's about. So that is me. My name is Jordan Moser. Again, keep a lookout for us. Do everything you got to do. But I'm out. Peace. Love God to the fullest always.